Thank you.
All right. So let me share and call the meeting to order. We'll do, there we go. Is that showing up for people who are on video?
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay. So can you believe it's June? I'm still in disbelief.
Me too.
It'll be good, Leslie. It'll be good. And again, I apologize if my voice cracks. I'm sick in Houston, but what are you gonna do? So.
But is the conference good, despite the fact everybody is sick?
Everybody's sick?
Everyone there's sick. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
they're still
gosh.
going. They're just everyone's there sick and coughing and sneezing and
I'm so sorry.
Is it
Yeah.
COVID?
You have
Nope.
COVID, Jay?
I don't have COVID. At least not this test says I don't. It's I don't know. I'll take another one later tonight just to double check, but
But there's a flu going around, which is coughing and sneezing and, the usual flu symptoms. So I'm sure that, once one person has it, it just passes itself on.
totally. Yeah. This must be how the flu was like 50, 60 years ago. It's just regained all that strength in the 3 years it was hiding in some dungeon somewhere.
Coming
All
back.
right. So I sent out the minutes for May. Thank you again, Joanne, for sending those out. And our first point of order is to vote on approval of those minutes. Does anyone want to make, oh, Marcia, you making a motion or you have a question?
No, I have a question. I wasn't here at the last meeting. And under the talking about the Spark Plug and Literacy Awards, it was noted under the Grants Committee. Has there been a change in the structure and financing?
Oh, no, that's an awards committee. So that would need to be modified then.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check and double check that. Those are the awards committee, not under the grants committee.
Correct. Because the Spark Plug and the literacy come from club funds, not the foundation funds.
Right. But they
Okay.
could
And
be under
grants
some-
come from the foundation funds. So it's
Yeah,
all
but
about money.
They would be under that same, like the external aspect of our club, though. We have those 4 pillars of the club now, the 4 areas. So they would be in the same area together, but that's just mostly for ease of coordination and communication stuff.
Okay, I'll make that correction.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that with you after the meeting, and we can see if
Okay.
there's anything we can do and then send it out to everyone for approval. Thanks for bringing that up, Marcia. Okay, well, we won't approve that now. We'll take a look at it and then we'll send it out for email approval.
Hi, this is Ann. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a remark about the $65 a month, that it only, on the storage, Guardian storage, it only covers the storage and not the insurance, as far as I understood that. The original contract was 6 months free in exchange for publicity, and I did do 2 postings on Facebook showing their truck and something, but I don't recall that someone is supposed to be asking for a further discount or additional publicity. And I also recall that the publicity was discouraged when we first contracted with Guardian Storage. So I just wanted to clarify or ask, is somebody supposed to be doing something? Because that's what the note says. It says somebody, but I don't know what's being done.
I think that the entire contract with Guardian Storage needs to be reviewed. We pay $57 a month for them, but I have asked repeatedly that they send the invoices to the PO box. They instead send them to John personally, who is giving up his PO box. So I don't know where they're going to go.
Oh.
And Yeah, so I think that I need to go in and actually talk to them. But $57 a month is what we pay, and we've paid June, and I'll create the check for July. But I think that it's a longer discussion. And I also think the question of 90% of it is peach stuff. Do we need it? And, you know, should we continue with that? So it's a very long discussion, and I don't think that this is the appropriate time to do that, but I think that we need to review the whole thing. That's my.
Okay, well, you don't need to go there because the person at the front desk doesn't know anything. So you've got the email for the manager. I
Yeah.
forget what her name is, but you can just email her.
So I should email.
discuss it.
Okay. With the
Yeah, I
question.
would think
The
so.
big
Yeah.
thing is changing the name on the account, because it should be Flatirons Rotary. It should not be John Olson. And that's an issue, because
I don't think it is. I think it is under our name, but he was the contact person. He went
Yeah,
over
well,
there. So that's what happened
yeah,
there.
no, I think it's a bigger concern than just, you know, is it $65 a month? So that's
Well,
my
I
two
think,
Okay.
I remember the 65 may have been with the assessed insurance that they provide.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't
maybe.
think so. I don't
But
think
we
so.
only
No, it was under his insurance. Okay,
No,
go ahead. You can
No,
do
and
it. Yeah.
I recognize John's got it under his insurance, but the $65 was the price of it per month with their insurance is what I recall, but we'll have to double check.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
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 All right. Let's move to financial reports. I've got our balance sheet up real quick.
And we're right on track with where we have been in the past. It's not a big deal. And we usually, because I've invoiced, I think about $5,000 worth of invoices, will be a little higher at the end of the month than we are now.
Okay.
Just because people will pay their dues.
And then we have our P&L here. Anything we should be aware of here that's at this
Well,
time of
the
year?
big one is there are two. In income under events fundraising, Amazon Smile people are using it now. So should we write that check to the foundation? Should I write a check to the foundation for that money, or do we just want to leave it in the club? It's still under $100. I'm sure that by the end of the year, it'll still continue to be under $100. So that's one. And the other one is our happy dollars, which we usually grant to somebody. You know, we raise happy dollars for someone. Since we gave $800 to the Marshall Fire victims, that was approved months ago. Since then, we've acquired $984 in happy dollars, which is a substantial amount of money. Should we write a check to somebody, or should we roll it over? Or, you know, I just need to know what to do with it. And I think that because we're now meeting in person and we're selling lottery tickets, our weekly income from happy dollars is higher than it has. It's back to what it used to be when we were meeting in person. So we take in, you know, we had been taking in like $10 or $12 when we were at the Humane Society. Now we're taking in a lot more just because we're selling those stupid lottery tickets. I mean, you know, you know, I don't buy any because I'm not very lucky, but you know, people do buy them. So anyway, should we write a check somewhere is the question.
We can put
One
that
question
in.
I have, Maribeth and Jay, the awards, the monetary awards for literacy and
Spark plug.
Spark Plug. Those are from the club, but is that money generated just from dues or from happy dollars and lottery? Where do we pull that money out of?
It usually just comes from dues. You know, it accumulates through the year, but we could certainly say, okay, we're going to roll over this $984 next year. It'll be part of the Spark Plug or literacy. It is part of this budget as opposed to foundation budget. If you look down, Jay, can you scroll down a little more to awards? I think it's, yeah. Spark Plug Award, we spend $2,000 in literacy, $1,000. And so that $3,000 is accumulated annually through dues. It's not a specific, we raise money for that. So, we could do whatever you wanted with it.
Marcia has her hand up.
Yeah, I thought it came from the president's account, that was his president's discretionary funds, but Marty can maybe answer to that. Maybe it changed and I'm not aware of it.
No, the president's discretionary fund, from my understanding, was just whatever the president chooses to spend it on, essentially. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we haven't, I can't remember where it is in here. President's Fund 5223.
Yeah, it's
We haven't
500.
spent that $500 yet. And I think the last time it actually got spent for anything was Meals on Wheels requested a grant, and we didn't have any money left in the grants account and whatever. And Rusty was the president at that time and said, let me use my president's discretionary account to give them money. And so that was how that was done that year. But we could certainly add the $500 to the 984, make a nice big award to somebody if we wanted to. And remember, 984, is that what it is? 964? I can't read, that's so small. No, don't make it bigger for me. Whatever it is, we will probably top $1,000 by the end of June. So that award could be made, June 30th.
Or we could buy a shelter box or give it to the Ukraine or that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We could also use it for the global grant and not have to go through the grants committee in our foundation. If we want to do another grant, we could, and then lots of options on the table right now. Many.
So
options.
I'm going to hand over everything to Dave, which I'm thrilled about, in a couple of weeks. So Dave is really excited about getting all of that crap. But I would love to clean it up this year, to just make that award this year, so we start from scratch next year. And we always have a zero budget because we expect that we're going to award those happy dollars to somebody else. I was just amazed when I printed this the other day how much money was in there. I just, meeting in person makes a big difference. It really does.
Kim.
One thing, and I know we've given to Sister Carmen, but I am just hearing of all these seniors having to go back to work. Our gas just went up to $4.85 this morning. It's just a horrible time for people, and
He's on the front deck now.
it's what?
Kim,
Oh.
sorry. No. Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
No. Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying that I'm seeing on TV that more and more seniors are having to go back to work because they can't afford food. They've got to decide, am I going to buy food or gas? And gas is up to $4.85 this morning. So I'm just saying, I know Sister Carmen helps with a lot of different needs, and that's always a good place, and they sure are grateful. So that's just another thought, but it's hitting people now really badly. I've heard.
I paid $5.25 in Lakewood the other day. Yeah.
I paid $6.
Wow.
Costco's gas is $4.49.
I won't tell you how much it costs here in Houston.
No.
$6.69 in California for regular and $7.19 for diesel.
Wow.
It seems like there's a lot of good ideas for the money. I'm wondering if this is something where, again, when Jay sends out the minutes, that he sends out a couple of ideas and go that way. I just seen maybe our whole meeting time today being devoted trying to figure out where that money goes. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think.
No,
we've-
I agree.
Right, Marty.
I
Thank
agree.
you.
I agree. The other question is, do we want to move that money from Amazon Smile to the foundation for grants? I mean, it's not a lot. It's only $77, but you know, is that something that should be done? I know that Bob has tried to change Amazon Smile to be the foundation bank account as opposed to the club bank account, and that is very difficult for him to do. So it's better, and we haven't ever made this much money, never, from Amazon Smile. So, you know, I just tell me what to do, and you can tell me what to do in, you know, in an email. I don't need to take time today.
Okay. Well, let's put that all together for those two tasks. And we'll add that to we'll take a look at the minutes.
Good.
Get it all together in an email for votes. And thank you, Mary Beth. This is your last time doing this.
Thank you, Mary Beth.
Thank you for your hard work, Mary Beth.
That's for sure.
Yes, thank you.
I'm so excited that Dave is taking over. I'm so excited.
We'll still, Mary Beth, we'll still have to rely on you for your historical references.
Yeah, yeah. The old, well, I'm not going to use that word to refer. Okay.
Thank you, Mary Beth. We do have an update on the grant application form from grants, and I can pull up that information. And then we have the ability for other committee chairs to report out. So if committee chairs do have anything to report, let me.
I have a question. Do we have committee chairs for next year?
Leslie does have committee chairs for next year. I think the only thing that I've heard that's changed is that Amy has asked to step down from the board next year. She thinks she'll be too busy. So
Leslie, if you could update me with any of those changes so that I can create that member booklet. In the past, again, here's the historical Mary Beth. In the past, we've always given the member booklet to members at the installation dinner as a thank you for the year. And I've been working on it, and I've been updating some pictures and some addresses, and Suzanne Ginger, I don't know if she's on this call, refuses to give me any information. I have no picture, no address, no birthday, nothing for her. I
Right.
got a phone number. But anyway, I would love to have that information correct in the booklet. So Leslie, if you could give that to me, that'd be great.
Okay, I
send you
have
the-
to, I'm leaving on Thursday. I think, I'm hoping that Anne is still wanting to be the member chair. And, you know, I don't think the foundation chair has changed. I think that's still Rusty.
No, all I need is benevolent outreach, fundraising, and membership. Those are the three that those are the three holes I have.
Benevolent
but-
outreach, I believe, is still Kim. Or is
Okay.
that, no, that's,
no, it's Kim, I think.
It's me.
okay.
Okay,
And then fundraising, I'm not sure if we, you know, that's a multi-group project. I agree. I don't think we have a fundraising chair.
okay.
And then the grants chair, I missed I was unable to attend the meeting last month. So I'm not sure
Good.
what came about from that. I know that Angie is taking over from Beth, and I don't know if she wants to carry on with the grants committee.
The only ones that I have listed in the member booklet, according to Jay's club structure that we reviewed and approved last time, is club administration, benevolent outreach, fundraising, and membership. The grants isn't actually part of that. It's folded in. So I will send you this, and you know, you can throw it away or do whatever. I'll just send you this page so that you've
Yes.
got this.
Thank you. I
And-
think, you know, I think the new structure is really great. It's, there's just things within things.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think as a club, we all need to just wrap our heads around what that continues to look like, as opposed to just reverting back to what we thought it was, because it is
Right.
all new. I think it makes really good sense. It's just a matter of solidifying that in our minds of what the changes
Yeah,
are.
no, and I think that that's why having, so somebody would know who to go to in the member booklet is great. You know, they know that if they've got a problem. We just had an issue with John is changing his address, and I could do the change of address for his invoices, but I couldn't change it with RI. He had to, so I said, make sure you tell Joanne as well. So
It's done.
yeah, it's done. But I was using that as an example that you need to know who to go to. And that would be great.
I don't believe the new club structure has ever been, was it approved? We've been talking about it.
Oh, I thought it was approved. Sorry.
We've been talking about it. Well, the bylaws haven't been changed.
That has to
We
be a
approved-
bylaw issue.
We approved the structure to go to bylaw change,
Oh, okay.
but we have to adjust the bylaws now.
And Leslie, that might be a good idea for an assembly, part of an assembly meeting sometime, is if this, just to explain to members exactly what this means.
And I was actually thinking of the first, my first official meeting in July, unless Bill has somebody solidly, okay. And the July 7th is a Wednesday, that we're dark, right? Because that's a July 4th week.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
It's up to you.
I think we've always been dark the week of July 4th.
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
No, if it's on July 4th, we're dark.
I thought it was that, just like Thanksgiving or
No.
Christmas. That week we're dark. Okay.
We haven't been anyway.
Okay. So that first meeting, I wanted to just go over, visioning, which I think is pretty, there's just a few points, and make sure that the club still feels that those points are valid. And then we could review the club structure and vote on the bylaws at that meeting. I think we could probably cover that, because most of it is informational and time for some discussion. What does everybody think? Kim? Oh,
I have a question for you. Are you still going to keep the board meetings the way they are now? Because that would be the day after, the first Tuesday would be the day after July 4th. And that could be a problem.
No, we should change that. We should change. Well, I'm not here. So I'm not at the board meeting, so I don't care, but
No, but
I would
that's-
strongly advocate for that.
that we keep it the first Tuesday?
No, in July, you.
Oh, in
you change
July.
it.
because
You
that
just
would be
changed.
hard. I think that'd be hard for people that are traveling around July 4th.
Mhm.
Could we
And-
do it just that one time the next Tuesday?
We certainly could. And that's why I thought, July 4th, it's so close to Wednesday, but not that close, because that's it's a Monday, I think,
It'll be a
right?
7th. I think Wednesday is the 7th, if I remember.
Right, Monday is July.
Yeah, it's the 5th
Sunday.
in July, Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be the 6th for the board meeting as it stands, and the 7th for the club meeting, but.
No, that's one day off.
Oh, yeah.
No, July 4th is a Monday.
Oh,
So it would be July 5th is a Tuesday. That's what I was just wondering. Are
Oh,
we
yeah,
still,
no, that's too
could we
close.
skip it to the next week? To July 12th? Would that work with everybody to just that one time to do it that way?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Works for
And
me.
will it still be on Zoom at 7? Because that works.
yeah, that works for
That
me.
good? That's good. So July 12th, thank you guys.
And what about the July, so the first week of July meeting, everybody is still comfortable having that meeting?
Yep.
I would cancel it, Leslie.
I'm
I
feeling
would,
like it should be a dark meeting just because of the holiday and people getting back, and I don't know, how do
I
others?
think it's so
feel?
close. I think that 3 days makes sense. 2 days is too close. And that is up to you. That as the president, you can make that decision. So
Then I make that decision that our
Good for
first,
you.
our first meeting of the Rotary calendar year is July 13th,
great.
Okay, good.
that
Okay.
we're dark on July 7th.
And we just need to announce that whenever we have a newsletter, that'd be great to be in the newsletter as well.
And
Right.
Leslie, that gives you more time after your trip to
Yeah.
get,
That's, yeah. Because I leave on Thursday and I've had a lot to, you know, to get ready for work, home and Rotary. Yeah, so I'm doing the club meeting tomorrow, so I can announce that and then probably it just, you know, just continue to announce it each month, you know, each week. And
It's
most people,
actually the 13th. It's not the 14th. It's the 13th, that Wednesday.
yep, the 13th.
13, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And on that meeting, that'll be a club assembly.
I think that's a great idea. I
Great.
feel like it was a good call to start the year off with the club assembly.
Mhm.
And hopefully Zoom and everything will work so that as many people, you know, can attend as are available.
and also it's just, I think it really helps the first of every quarter to have an assembly to get that quarter going. It's sort of a good pattern.
So we'll do, yeah, so as a club assembly, we'll just review the visioning that we did during Marty's year and then review the club structure and introduce any changes, you know, just updates for the 2022-23 year. And if anybody wants to, you know, things to discuss, I don't know if we should, you know, at what point we want to continue discussing the, you know, solidify our 25-year project, which is challenging. And I thank John for
Great.
all of his stick-to-itiveness for that.
Yeah, I think
That's a
we
great
can
time
go.
to talk about that, is right at the beginning of the fiscal year for the club. I think that's great. And I'm sure, just to let you know, everybody will have an opinion. So no,
And then this way we can have proposed bylaw changes in advance with over a week notice for people to come into that meeting in early July for the club assembly. And be able to vote on that bylaw change, which should go easy, I think, but it's good to know for everyone that gives us plenty of time to get it all ironed out before we submit it to the club.
I have the draft bylaws, but there were a couple of updates to that too. So I need to review those and get a new, get a consolidated bylaws revision to everybody. So I should do that.
And even though I'll be out of the country, I still will have my trusty, you know, everything on hand.
you're a better person than I am with using that phone.
All right, well, I think this is a good segue. I don't think we have any vote actions here, but Angie, I've got the email with some of the proposed changes that you sent over, and I think this is just an update from the committee so that folks know what all we're thinking about, and I think you captured it pretty well here, so I'm going to share my screen. And this is regarding the last couple grants committee meetings and a conversation about needing to update the form and update the way that we oversee and manage grant submissions and their reports, which from what we can tell, it looks like we haven't done a very stand-up job of making sure we always get the reports. So we got some this year and they look great, and we're thinking, we should be better about this because this is really helpful. Anyhow, Angie, if you'd like to take it away. I don't know if you can see the email up here.
Yeah. So, as I said with the grants committee, I mean, I will serve as the chair as long as someone else doesn't want to do it. And my primary goal in this grants thing is to make it a very transparent process where there aren't going to be the hard feelings and the problems and the misunderstandings that happened in the past, because that was awful. And I also want people who do grants to have some accountability and make sure that they understand exactly what we want. And if we turn people down, we have to have a good reason to do that, because obviously everyone who applies, or mostly everyone who applies, is a very worthwhile organization, and we wish we could give money to everybody. So the things that I had suggested, and then we discussed, and there was some other people who made some suggestions, is that we revise our website to make it very clear around our goals, around our rules about what kind of money you can apply for and what it's supposed to do. Get the paperwork so that it is very clear what you're supposed to do, and make sure that if people are applying and they want to get DDF, that they submit enough that we can actually do both our grant and the DDF at the same time, because there's no reason to not try to get DDF if these people are willing to do that. We want to make sure that the organization actually is the organization is the one who is applying and doing the grant, not just the champion. I mean, obviously champions can be very involved, but the grant has to be prepared and submitted by someone from the organization who is the responsible party, so that we know for sure that what is being put on the application is actually consistent with what the organization wants and is going to do with the money.
And Angie, I'll cut in real quick because some people
Okay.
may not have been around when we had those conversations. Does anyone need clarification on why we are going that way? Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and so almost wrapping up here, and then we want to make sure that we're bringing these organizations into Rotary and letting them know that we're not just a pocketbook. So we want to have it a requirement that they come to a full meeting, that we encourage them to come to a meeting before they apply, that they have to come to a meeting when they apply. They have to come to the full meeting, not just the 5-minute presentation and then hit the road. And that we want to make sure that everyone does final reports to let us know what they did with the money. It's my recollection, I think that maybe Parlando came and told us about it. I don't know, or maybe it's the Spark people. Anyway, I think it's really nice, so that when we know that we've given money to people and then they come back and say, this is what we did, they have more contact with Rotary, because honestly, most of the people who are in these organizations should be part of Rotary too, because they're service organizations, they're trying to help people. Why wouldn't they want to be part of Rotary? So we want to use this as kind of a membership, hope that people will be encouraged to join and be part of it. And the other thing that I think is really important is that from now on, we'd like to have the champion, or the person who is actually from the Rotary Club who knows about this grant and is wanting to do it, will come to the grants committee when we're discussing this thing. I haven't really decided, and no one really said one way or the other, if the person who is the champion should be part of the voting discussions or just part of the presentation of whatever we're doing. So whether the person is listening into the grant discussions or not, I think there was a suggestion that that person should in fact listen in and be present for the vote. And then that way that person can kind of be the coordinator between the organization and Rotary.
As a champion who was completely blindsided last year, I think that that's a great idea. Parlando asked me to be their champion. I said, great, I think it's a great organization. And then I heard nothing until all of a sudden I got an email saying, congratulations, we spent the money on this. It's like, what? I had absolutely no idea of any of the discussion. And I think that that's important for the champion, because that is the person who brought them into the club. I do think that the generation of the grant application itself by the organization is important, but I also think that club members are the ones that need to advocate with the, as Kim advocates for Sister Carmen, great, let's write a grant for them, but Kim has to be involved at some point, or I'm using that as an example, not.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But I think that the champion should be involved. I agree with that 100%. I also think that this is what we had expected the grants committee to do years ago, and it just never happened. So thank you, Angie, for clarifying and getting us back to where we thought we were. I know that all of these rules were put into place and then they sort of deteriorated over time. And I think that this is really important.
I think that Angie's also highlighted that with the rebuild of the website, we'll have more ability to convey the information in a clear, concise manner that's intuitive for people who are trying to apply. I believe that that will be a really big benefit to them, because right now, I mean, Jim highlighted, he just felt like it was a void, and you've echoed that right here, Mary Beth. And I think we can do better, definitely. And Angie's spearheading all of this and doing a great job getting everyone's input, understanding what the problems are, and highlighting the ways to move forward and make it better.
And I just want to make one personal note to Angie. Thank God you're a lawyer, because only a lawyer would come up with that, you know. I know that Marcia did a lot of work on this many years ago, and then it's kind of over time it deteriorated because individuals who were grants chairs didn't really think it was important. Most recently, our most recent grants chair. And she was not a lawyer. I think a lawyer looks at things from a different perspective and very detail oriented. Great. Thank you, Angie.
I think I'm just trying to avoid the problems that were blatantly obvious to everybody. So hopefully we can kind of, keep this going and make sure that everything works out okay. So until someone else decides that they want to take over, I will sort of be the head of the parade, and we'll see if we can make sure that this grants process works smoothly for everybody.
Great.
Thank you.
Certainly. Okay. So no action. This is just a report out to let you know what direction that committee is going. We will have a new form and dates, 2 different deadlines, I think, is what we've agreed upon for start of year grant applications to come in, be reviewed, and when people will be notified by. And then we'll do something along the lines of a smaller grant, perhaps later in the year, where we'll take in additional applications once we know how much is left over in both our international and local grants category, giving us the flexibility of saying, like, if you want to apply for larger amounts of money, this is the time to do it. And then we'll know how much is left, and then we can go through a process of taking smaller grant applications later in the year.
Do we know how much money we have for next year? How much Leslie's will have for grants?
Well, Terry's on the
Terry,
call.
do you know that?
Yeah, it was in the minutes. What? The foundation minutes, I guess.
I think it's around 15,000.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm talking and I didn't unmute. Yeah, I think it's 15.5 is what I texted to Angie.
Awesome.
Did you get that, Angie?
Unless you sent it this morning, I did not. But that's good to know.
Yeah. I got a bad habit of typing it up in a text and then forgetting to hit send.
Don't we all, Terry? Don't we all? I have so many draft emails in my outbox or my draft box, and
oh yeah,
I love going back and reading what I thought I was going to send somebody. Any other grant?
Yeah, I sent it.
Okay. Well, it's at the dig for it.
I sent it on May 25th.
Awesome.
Terry, I think you sent me that time just the amount of money that we had spent, not the amount of money that was in the budget next time. But that's no big deal.
You're right. You're right. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's 15.5.
Yeah, I just tried to find my foundation board minutes, but they ought to be right here, but they're
Well, we know it's at least 15,000, which is great. I
Yeah.
think that that's the bottom line. That's, you know, you can figure out the detail later, but knowing that we have that much money to give away is great.
And
Right.
also a thing to point out, Angie, we're under the impression we have no more money to give this year, right? So we're going to be notifying grant applications and applicants that we don't have any more funding available. I think there was a miscommunication in the beginning of the year between Lou from the foundation and Brian, and there was a belief that we had more money than we did. So that said, that's fine. We've given out a lot of great grants this year, and we'll just start the next year, you know, knowing that we're going to have a different process to be able to notify people mid-year how much is left for the small grant application period. Any other committee chairs?
Are people supposed to, I'm sorry, are people
Okay.
supposed to resubmit the grant that they thought were still alive?
Yeah, we're, I think, Angie, I don't know if you want to talk about the resubmission for the next year and how we're going to go about that. Maybe we lost Angie. So we had talked in the meeting about perhaps the folks who had applied be grandfathered into the process, and this one time as we transition and say, you know, if you want to resubmit this application that's still relevant, you can do so for this deadline, but you won't have to do the new format. Here, you should look at it though to make sure there's nothing else you want to add, just because it's a lot of work to write the grant applications, and we should have enough information to be able to go off of, but I suspect that we won't see all the people who had applied reapplying, but even if they do, you know, it could be helpful for them to not have to rewrite their grant all over again, just to resubmit the same thing.
So
And then
are
after-
those organizations going to be notified that what's happening? Give them a choice to do something?
Anne, are you in the mountains right now?
mean,
Because I can't really understand you.
No, I'm in California. Okay, I'll never mind. I'll discuss it later.
Now I can understand you. Try again, one time, please. Okay. Any other primary grant committee chair reports? All right.
This is sort of on a fundraising grant note, as I was thinking, you know, we're getting to the deadline of peaches, and if we don't have a meeting, you know, we're going to be dark on July 6th. That might be a good opportunity if it wants to be, you know, if we want to just have a Zoom peach meeting or meet in person at the mortuary where it's not a formal meeting, but since most members kind of have that Wednesday morning reserved, it might be an opportune time to for the, you know, anybody involved with peaches to really hammer out details.
Great idea. All right. Let's move forward to John. John, we've got you down here to talk to us a little bit about updates on the 25th anniversary project. Love to hear
I'll
from
give
you.
you a summary of what's happening. It's moving forward very slowly. I had a meeting with the foundation to see what kind of financial support we could expect, and they were very helpful. In fact, enthusiastic. They committed to $10,000 to be used for buying trees for victims of the fire. There's a couple of conditions to that. They wanted they wanted us to see if anybody else was doing this. And I looked into that, and I wound up talking to our own Bell Patterson, who is working with another nonprofit just on that type of thing. And we talked quite a while, and he was very enthusiastic about it. And waiting for hearing back from him. I don't expect to hear from him until July. He's on vacation in South Carolina, I believe it is. So that's an open thing right now, but it's supportive with the direction of getting trees to some of the victims. Rusty looked into the idea of how much do the trees cost. We're not going to be, it looks like we may be challenged to buy 25 trees installed for $10,000. It seems like now inflation's starting to come in place, and it could cost $1,200. If it's a year from now, it could be $15,000 or $15,000. So the costs seem to be escalating while we can't seem to move it forward. And Val was also telling me that we're not the only ones, that they have, his Episcopal Church wants to make a significant donation and is ready to write the check. But the people that are in charge, the government people, really haven't implemented the plans. The first home was yesterday, just started to be built. So this is a long-term thing, and we've got a 5th anniversary now, and the foundation seemed to be okay if this happens in the future. So if we go the tree route, that's gonna maybe take until next fall, because that's the planning time. The fall from 2023. In the meantime, I've been looking at some other opportunities, and I talked just yesterday with a lady from Historic Louisville. They want to rebuild the museum that was taken by the fire, and they want to do it in a way that copies the original building. And they think they can do that for $225,000, but it's all up in the air. And but we talked about maybe making a contribution to that, and getting out of this thing with trees, because that's the last thing that's going to happen in the process. You know, it's the building comes first, and then the trees and landscaping comes second. So they're enthusiastic. So we have several things in place where we're talking about projects that are being appreciated, but they're not ready to act. So that's where we're at right now. Let's see what else we have. Oh, if we did the, if it comes about where we can make a contribution towards the museum rebuild, there would be an opportunity to get some plaque on the building. There's already somebody that donated $10,000, and maybe it would be a collective thing. So that's where we're at. It's like watching the grass grow, but we're moving forward very slowly.
Thank you, John.
John, are we expecting that we can announce to the club what we're actually doing and where the money goes, et cetera, in time for charter night
I would,
because that's a celebration of the club, right?
I would love that. You can't rush these people, but
that's February.
we need to have a plan, and we've sort of promoted things prematurely in the past. And yeah, I would hope to do it. I would hope to do it now, but we're not there yet. We're waiting on other people.
Kim, I see your hand up.
John, that museum thing sounds like a great idea, because school children will go to that museum. If there's something, we could even have a bench there with our plaque on it or something, because kids will see that. And I think, I know up in Breckenridge, there's a playground and it's done by the Rotary. There are big signs. There's signs in Pennsylvania where my daughter is, where Rotary has done things, and kids see that.
Mhm.
I think that sounds like a great idea. The tree thing sounds ridiculous because of inflation, and I don't think we get much for our money. But the museum thing, kids do go to museums. That's part of a school
I'm
thing.
looking favorable at that. I don't know what the group here is, and I don't want to make this to be a committee meeting, but would that be supportive if we were able to do that? I mean, their feeling about that with the board.
I think it's great.
I can't see you all, but if there's
Yeah, well,
a
it looks like most of us would say yes, we would support that, John.
okay. Well, we're working on that as well.
Good.
And, we don't want to hand money over until they have a formal plan. They have enough money right now to get rid of the debris, which is going to cost $50,000 to $100,000. And then they have to have a new plan to rebuild, I guess, permits and that type of thing. They talked to one contractor, he said it'd be about $225,000, but they're doing it. They want it to be a replica of what they had before. And I don't know if you can really do that with permits. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And $200,000 to build that museum back. It was a one-room minor cabin that was basically shingles and 2x4s. And I mean, I'll just say that the amount of money that contractors are making on this is absolutely obscene. There's no way it costs $75,000 to remove the debris, because you know what? I drove past the museum and there's no debris there. There's nothing. So it's just absolutely highway robbery what people are doing. I mean, I heard of somebody who actually spent $100,000 to quote unquote remediate their house. It's like burn it down and build a new one.
Yeah, I don't know what their final plans are. I've been in touch with a lady over there, and I want to introduce this to the committee, our committee too, and maybe we'd have a meeting with her if she's willing to meet us, you know, out at the location. But she's not, I don't think she's a decision maker. And it feels to me a little bit like a false start where we're enthusiastic about something, but it's going to move slowly. And I don't think that if we do this, we won't be able to. If we could announce this at the 25th anniversary, I think that would be good enough rather than having the project completed. I think it would just be beginning about that time. If we're lucky, you know, there's a lot of competition for contractors and trees and all this stuff. It's a massive thing going on over there, and it's taking forever. And so we're sort of in that line.
Well, thank you, John, for the update. And I think that it gives us a lot to think about. And I think that what you're hearing is that there's support for you to continue talking about the museum. And I guess we can kind of keep our finger on the pulse for the trees.
Well, if we go that way, I'll be revisiting the foundation to see if we can adjust the criteria that they set forth with the trees.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that people here are dramatically opposed to the trees. I think we just recognize that it, like you said, it may be something that's a super long, wait for that to happen, which would be fine. But it'd be good to know if the museum is something we could make a major contribution to. Mary Beth?
Okay. Thanks for
This is like, I think making an announcement at Charter Night that this is what we're going to do is fine. I don't think that the project needs to be completed by then. However, one of the things that we haven't talked about is maybe, and this is Leslie, who's obviously not here anymore, but maybe all the happy dollars that are accumulated over the 2022-23 season are designated for the 25th anniversary project. I mean,
Yeah,
that if we're meeting in person, that would be several $1,000s. So that's another way we can go to
helpful.
increase the money. What?
I think it could be very helpful.
Yeah, so that's a decision Leslie can make when she's president. So just a thought.
Marcia?
Something that might be also a plus for the museum would be, can we be involved as volunteers in some
Yeah.
capacity? Tree
Good.
planting isn't going to do anything like that for us.
It's a good idea.
I think there's a possibility of that because they're not the city of Louisville. I think they're a nonprofit.
It's
Mhm.
Superior. It's the Superior History
Superior
Museum.
Museum, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be less formal.
Mhm.
Right,
That's
right.
the vibe I get anyway. I guess that's
Wonderful.
all I have for now.
Thank you so much, John. Really appreciate you coming and telling us about all the work you've been doing, and we really appreciate how hard you've been working on gathering information and navigating, all the bureaucracy. So very much appreciate that.
Thank you.
I only had a couple other things listed here for this meeting. And I guess the one on the bottom is the one that's definitely an update from last time, which is food at club meetings. And I know we said that some folks may be asking about catering options, but I'm not sure if we learned anything new.
I did some research, and my opinion is we shouldn't have club members be responsible for it. There's plenty of options for delivery for, whether it's one restaurant that delivers every time, or we use DoorDash or one of those places. Yes, there's a fee, but I really think that with our club, knowing people are out of town, knowing people are, it's just too challenging. And, saying, okay, it's your week to bring muffins I think it's just a challenge. So I think we should, however we do it, we should find an option that does not include club members, that it's something else. Now, can we pay I noticed that several people at our clubs are having coffee through the Greenwood and Myers. Can we pay them for that? I mean, they have the little
they
coffee
told us in
machine.
the
I think
first
that's
meeting
something
that-
that we should consider.
They told us in the first meeting they were happy to provide it to us, but I don't think you're mistaken that we could contribute in some way.
Yeah, I think we should definitely pay for it.
Yeah.
Or give them coffee beans.
Oh, we could do that too.
Good idea. I had
So
something,
I have,
if there wasn't anything else, Anne, are you there?
Ann's there. I hear Ann.
Okay, I'll go ahead then. Website updates. When, how will that happen? We have a literacy award, and my concern is the applications process opens July 1, and we have everything all approved, and it's not on the website. So
Yeah, I think we're in a kind of a weird conundrum where we can go and put that on the website, and I have the login information, so we can go and try to get that on there now. So let's, when I get back from Houston, I think that's when we'll have to get it on there.
thank you. If I
You
can
know, the
help in
other
any
thing
way.
is we can just tell people that if they're interested in applying, they can reach out to somebody at Rotary, and we can send them a paper application that's updated without having to worry about messing up with the website for now, until the website gets updated. People actually did function before the internet, so maybe we could just do it that way. And nobody would
I
have
was
to-
planning to bring printouts to the July meeting to the people attending.
Great. I do think it would be nice to have it attached there so that if anyone does expect to find it
That's
there, it'll
been,
be there.
yeah.
And it shouldn't be hard to update the attachments. The other two things I had on here was the garage sale update, and just to hear if we learned anything new about the possibility of doing a garage sale at one of the churches that Ann and maybe Kim had been talking to.
I haven't had a chance to get back to the other churches, and Val was helping me, and I've been emailing him, but I've been busy with the Nancy's project, so
Sure.
I don't have anything to report on it, but I think we've usually done it in June. Maybe we're doing it in July. Kim and I haven't really talked about, Kim, has anybody volunteered to?
No.
Just getting back.
No, but my neighborhood where we always have it, they're having the big one this weekend. So if any of you need anything, I'm so sorry I can't do it this year, but there's just too much going on. But the neighborhood is having their big one, and there are actually some good sales in there. So if anybody's looking for your kids or grandkids or something, a bike or something, it's a good garage sale. I'm just sorry I can't do it. I have friends that wanted to donate to the garage sale. So I do have some items. If anybody can figure a venue, I've got things for it, but I just can't do it this year.
And thank you both. And Ann, I don't feel like you should feel heavy pressure to have this all figured out at this point.
Yeah. Can't we say we can do it in July? I mean, I know people want to do it. I've got stuff that I can say, and I say we're going to be able to help with this, and I don't think the manager over there is the person that's talking to, but I think it's Shannon or
Hey, Ann, I'm sorry, we really can't hear you. It seems like your reception's going in and out, perhaps.
forget it.
I heard forget it. All right. And as best as you can answer, do you need any additional help right now on installation dinner? Any volunteers for any of the roles right now that you haven't already secured? We'll have to get back to that one, I guess. All right. Well, with that said, a lot of information, not a lot of decisions, but we'll have some email decisions coming through based on moving forward with a number of things that we had earlier in the meeting, such as any adjustments to the minutes from last meeting, and we'll send out options for Happy Buck use for this year. Wonderful. We have a motion to adjourn. Mary
So
Beth
moved.
motions. Joanne's a second. All in favor of adjourning? All right, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Have a
Thank
wonderful day. Thank you so much.
We hope you're feeling better, Jay. Get better.
Yeah, take care.
Take care.
Stay safe,
Bye.
Jay. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Leslie, good luck with the trip.
I'll see, I'll
Yes.
be there. I'll be at the meeting tomorrow,
Oh, good. Okay. Well, stay safe so you don't have to quarantine.
wearing a
there.
mask.
Yeah.
We
Definitely
still
wear your
should be.
mask.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye.
Yeah.